How's it going, Time Studio fans? Luke here, your host as always, and today is another review video. Today we're going to be looking at one of the most iconic, not the most iconic, trilogies ever made, Back to the Future. God, it looks like horror lighting in this lighting. Let's ignore that for the time being. Now, nearly 40 years later, after the films were released, people are still talking about Marty McFly, it's not Rick and Morty, Doc Brown, and the DeLorean. But does the trilogy still hold up to what it was then? Let's find out. So, starting Back to the Future Part 1, the film is introduced with Marty McFly and Doc Brown, as well as the most famous time machines in cinema history. So the story is simple, but incredibly effective. Marty accidentally travels back to 1955, and has to make sure his parents fall in love, otherwise he risks pretty much failing from resistance, causing paradox. And yeah, what I love about this film is how well everything fits together. Every scene feels like it has a purpose, and the setup and the payoff is just fantastic. The characters as well are absolutely memorable, and yeah, the humour still works and the adventures still never gets old. The music and the sound design are also bloody brilliant. The main theme is instantly recognisable. It helps make sure the film feels bigger and more exciting even now. Hearing the soundtrack immediately gives me the vibe of time travel, risks, adventure, love, sadness, so on and so forth. And moving on to Back to the Future Part 2. This is probably the most ambitious of films of the trilogy. This takes time travel, this takes Marty and Doc Brown to 2015, before finding themselves in an alternative version of 1985, and eventually revisiting the events from the first film. This film expands the world massively. This shows consequences of changing history. It's fascinating to see, and one decision completely altered the timeline. If you're a fan of sci-fi or time travel like I am, you'll know the basic gist of stuff like that. I take Doctor Who for example. I know it's typical, but shit as a people, let's say. I can't remember the episode name because it's a shit era. Do you remember when Ruby Sunday stepped on a butterfly and she changed to the queen of something? I don't know. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And the future scenes are also fun to watch, especially seeing what the filmmakers thought 2015 would look like. Yeah, 2015 did not match that. I fucking wish it did. Christ, imagine that. But again, the soundtrack and the sound design are fantastic. The film feels bigger, it feels darker and more complex than the first one, which generally helps it stand out much more. Then we move on to Part 3. Instead of focusing on the future, we move on to the past. 1885. The Western setting gives the film a completely different feel from the previous two movies. I know some people consider this to be the weakest link between the first in the three film trilogy, but I've always enjoyed it. It gives Doc Brown more development as a character and provides a satisfying conclusion to the overall story. The Western atmosphere works surprisingly well, actually, and it feels like it's fitting more into the trilogy instead of like, let's go to the past, but not so far in the past, let's go to the future, let's look around, stuff like that. Now there is one criticism, if I can speak, I have of the trilogy. While I personally love these films, I can understand why some younger audience might struggle with them. Modern audiences tend to move at a much faster pace, and their attention spans aren't always what they used to be. Well, I say used to be. Bit of side rant here. You know how we keep seeing things on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, stuff like that, about younger audience wanting dopamine, about constantly scrolling through reels, wants faster paced films, faster paced ads. Just go back to the old films, like slower paced stuff. You can actually absorb what's happening instead of bam, 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 like what the fuck just happened type of thing. Because if I'm honest, I'm pretty sure there's more people who enjoy slower paced stuff instead of Hollywood, Warner Brothers, anything like that, pushing their stuff towards younger children, and us older generations can't enjoy films or TV shows anymore. And as I was saying, there are moments where the pacing slows down, especially compared to modern blockbusters. However, I think that's also part of the trilogy's charm. It takes time to build its characters and stories rather than rushing from action to scene to action scene. It kind of links what I was saying earlier about faster paced stuff. But overall, I think Back to the Future trilogy remains one of the greatest trilogies ever made. And the stories... No, sorry, I was saying the wrong thing. The writing is clever. The characters are 100% memorable. And the soundtrack is fantastic. Each film brings us something different to the table. And honestly, if I had to rank my top 3 favourite trilogies, I would do it like this. Top 1, The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings trilogy. Second one, Back to the Future. And third one being the Jurassic Park trilogy. Not Jurassic World, Park. But for me, Back to the Future is a timeless classic that still holds up to incredibly well today. And if you've never seen it before, I will go to your lounge, look it up, rent it if need be, and fucking watch it. But yeah, that's it. I'm still not used to this horror vibe. Christ, but there's a heat wave at the moment. It's fucking hate it. Not used to the heat. Don't like it. But as I was saying, thank you so much for watching. Please make sure you comment below what type of stuff you want me to review next, what games you want me to play. Oh, by the way, more episodes of Escape the Backrooms are coming out for both. Well, it'll be on Sonny Witt's channel, no longer called the Cyber Prano. It'll be on his channel, so I'll link to his channel in the description below, and make sure you keep an eye out on that channel for Escape the Backroom series. And yeah, this has been Loki, your host as always, signing off. See you next time.